For our podcast disclaimer, please visit the episode description. Thanks so much for listening to What the Heck is Happening in HR. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about pay budgets and what's happening and what's looking forward for 2024. What is happening with inflation, what's happening with this great reset, what's happening with the resignations, and what's happening with hiring people. So let's get into it. Most of the compensation work comes from very different resources. My favorite is World at Work. It used to be called the American Compensation Association, but it does have a wonderful amount of resources. Lots of information around budget planning. And what's important about that is that if you listen to some organizations, they are using their pay data and they're using information collected from their audience. Now, their audience may be employees, and sometimes employees will report what they wish they had rather than what they actually have. The World at Work, or the former ACA, actually focuses on pay increases that are reported by payroll or by HR. It isn't just what a paycheck might be, perhaps when they had a big bonus year, or perhaps they had overtime. So it's important to know where your data comes from and what it is. So what we're finding and what World at Work reports right now is that for 2024, there is an average budget of 4% being budgeted. And so what's contributing to that? Most of it is by worker shortages. So inflation being second to that. And so people saying, hey, I can't live off this wage anymore. Of course, we also have organizations and states and municipalities where minimum wage are being impacted. So here in Florida, where we record from, we have a change coming where the pay will move up on September 30th, starting for October 1st. And so that needs to be taken into consideration as well. Not only the people at that minimum wage, but it also needs to be those people who are already at that wage saying, oh, hold on, they're just coming in and they're going to make what I make? I don't get it. So that 4% is down from what was 4.4% in 2023. That seems to be the actual increase that people are experiencing. So let's talk about what that means. So salary increase budget means promotions, it means merit increases, it means inequities, perhaps where you found out that somebody wasn't being paid what they really should be paid. It means taking care of compression issues. So if you are bringing in people at a higher figure and they're being trained by people who make less than they do, that's never a good thing. That's called compression, by the way. So you want to be able to keep an eye on that. So when they say a 4% increase, what that means is that we're going to take our payroll amount and we can afford to increase it by 4%. That's it. I am shocked how many organizations go, well, that's our average merit budget, right? No. You have people who are going to be leaving the organization. You're going to have people coming in at higher levels, lower levels. It says that you should be monitoring your payroll all the time. What is it? You should be looking at overtime for sure. You want to know what departments are headed into too much overtime. Are we paying it properly? But you also just want to look at the overall payroll. Is it where we said it would be? If it's already hit a 5% increase and you're 3 months into your calendar year, then you've got an issue. And so you need to be able to say, hold on, are we paying everybody too much? Did we not have a realistic budget? Do we need to make an adjustment here? Have we really hired all the higher paid people and now we're going to be hiring people coming in at more entry-level jobs? Just what is happening with it? So one of the things is that sometimes budgets are lower than projected because they think that the financials are going to not end up where they thought they were going to end up budget wise. So when you end up with a higher budget increase of 4%, then sometimes your controller or your CFO will come over and go, hey there, well, let's roll that back a little bit. If you've been able to show your value, if you've been able to contribute, if you've been able to influence, you'll be able to have a conversation there that goes, hold on a second. There's nothing more important in this business than talent. The only way we're going to grow out of it is through our talent, being engaged, providing discretionary effort, and knowing that they're going to be rewarded for what they do. So hands off my salary increase budget. So be sure that you're paying attention to that. I wanted to be sure you had this latest information for 2024 as you're planning for next year. Of course, you only have one size of your pie for total rewards. So if salaries are going to go up by 4%, what does that mean for your benefits? Does that mean you're going to be contributing at the same level or barely at the same level? Do you need to make plan design changes within your insurance schedule? Do you need to change 401k? I don't know what the answers to those questions are. They're different for every organization. They're based upon what is your philosophy around your people. And if you're like, well, I don't really know what it is, then how do you know what you're doing? We do know what you should be doing every Monday, and that is listening to the new podcast that drops of What the Heck is Happening in HR. Thanks so much for listening, because we know that learners are earners, and you're learning every Monday.